Hi, my name is Robert C Ayala, and I'm a real Democrat running from the Democratic nomination to stop the campaigns of Joe Biden, Donald Trump, or any candidate telling us how to live, what to ingest, or how to look. I may be imperfect, but a real Democrat puts you and others first. A real Democrat puts you and others first. How's everybody doing tonight? I wanted to talk to Iowa and New Hampshire tonight, specifically Iowa and New Hampshire directly, and let you know that if you're in Iowa and you're in New Hampshire, it's okay for the Democratic primary to vote for me. It's okay to vote for the candidate for freedom. And I like to tell you why tonight. Because I believe in this country and I believe in the democracy that we have. And so before I get started, I first want to tell everybody in Florida that our thoughts and prayers are with you. I have family and friends in Cape Coral and in Tampa. When a hurricane comes that they say is a once-in-a-lifetime storm, it scares people. It makes people worry. People are worried about whether their houses are going to be there. When their houses, if they get destroyed, is the insurance going to be there? Because they have a governor that for the last hurricane allowed all the insurance companies to just absolve themselves of their duties. So there's some real stress for people tonight that if you have property or home down there and you've paid insurance, that just might not be good enough. And what do you do? You know, one of the things I was telling some people today was that when you look at Maui and you look at disaster zones, it's easy to say that people can just go back to their homes. But generally, if your home is unlivable in a situation, they'll red tag your home. And when they red tag your home, it means you're really not allowed to do anything on your own property other than the rehabilitation of bringing the home back into a place that you can live in. So it's not just worrying about the hurricane, whether your family's going to be safe. It's worrying about all the flood damage and the homes and your cars and your life, and that there just might not be an insurance policy there to make things better. And so tonight, as we're all bickering across the country about our politics, the whole state of Florida is hunkered down. They're bunkered down. And I think we should all be praying for them. I know I'll be doing that tonight. I know I'll be worrying about them. And I just know that no matter what, we'll get through everything. But just like Maui, it's kind of interesting. You know, you have all these charity things going from California to Maui. But the U.S. government, which has military ships, has still not deployed those military ships to Maui. And sometimes I just wonder that, you know, we're the United States of America. And last time I checked, Hawaii was a state in the United States of America. And just because it's real convenient that nobody can get to Hawaii or Maui without a boat or a plane, the help can't get there because nobody can get there. So the only means really to get any kind of help there, you know, again, I don't know why we can't get some frigates that carry, tanks and Humvees, and we can't get them over to Maui, and with all those volunteers that want to go and help out, we can't give them a ride over there. And this is what I talk about when I say that the American president should put you first and others first. So that's my thing. I hope we're all going to just think about Florida tonight. If you got family and friends, maybe you send them a text, let them know that you're thinking about them. And just remember, you know, sometimes when we're talking about taxes and the lack of taxes and who is getting taxed, you know, sometimes having a little bit of taxes aren't bad if in a time of disaster, the government's able to help people with those taxes. But if the government isn't able to do anything to help anybody, then I don't see the need for those taxes. So let's take a quick look tonight. As usual, we don't have anybody, but that's okay. This is for another time. But what I want to talk about tonight is I want to talk about these two. If you turned into the title tonight, the title was Two Morons. Yup, I said it. Two morons. Thing one and thing two. Thing one, Ron DeSantis. Thing two, Gavin Newsom. And I just, Iowa and New Hampshire, Biden comes in, he kicks your first in the nation status. He changes fundamentally the history of America, how this nation decided who the next president would be. He did it for one reason, and that's because he's targeting one group of people. And in my view, that's racism. I know some other people might think it's, oh, well, it's our time and blah, 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 blah. But the president of the United States is to represent everybody. Red, white, blue, black, brown, orange. Everybody should be represented. But what I don't understand is what these two morons are doing, right? Thing one and thing two. Two morons. Newsom and DeSantis are going to debate. First of all, Ron DeSantis, I think, has dropped to number 5 in national polling against Donald Trump. Nikki Haley, even Tim Scott, I think, is polling better than Ron DeSantis. Gavin Newsom, I thought we weren't having a primary. We're not having a primary, right? That's why I'm sitting here on YouTube, and this is why I'm trying to run commercials on the radio in Iowa, because we're not having a primary, because I think we should have a primary. We should have the discussion that Joe's too old, and he's, we wish him well to the end of his term. But again, today I spent in New York $4.59 on mid-grade. Low grade was 10 cents or 12 cents less, so I wasn't really thinking that in this situation I'm already hosed for $5. When you're already hosed, the idea is maybe I'll just put something a little bit better in there, and that way I can keep my car just a little bit longer, right? Because I'm not going to buy an electric car, all right? I tell everybody all the time, I'm going to get a horse and buggy. No electric car here for me. I'm not burning up in my house, and I'm not burning up with my family. However, back to Newsom and DeSantis, these two people are going to go have a debate on Fox News. But maybe not, maybe so, maybe not, maybe so. My issue is that Joe Biden is sanctioning this. How do you have people, one guy who's not even running for president, and the current president apparently has given him his endorsement, his blessing, and that's made Kamala Harris upset. And then we got Ron DeSantis, who, why is he debating this guy? And I'll tell you why Iowa and New Hampshire. Because New Hampshire, specifically the Freedom State, the Democratic Party has forgotten the principles it's coming from. And I want to reintroduce those principles. And those principles and convictions are you first and others first. If you put other people first and you put the American people first, then you get away from all this ideology that stretches things all the way to the left or all the way to the right. Right? It just brings things back to the middle. Because when you actually have rational people in office and you actually putting people first, then you won't do things that hurt other people. So if I've got to put one person forward and help them out with something and it impairs 100 people, and the last time I checked, the one person doesn't overrule the demands of 100, but it's still that one person is heard. But today what we have is we have each side collectively in their own positions, right or wrong, however honorable or dishonorable they may be, feel that because they believe in something, that you and I should pay for their belief. And I'm tired of that. And I think a majority of America is tired of that. And the next step into this country being even greater than it is, okay, and being even freer than it is that we return politicians to our federal government that put you first. It's that simple. No policies. I have a policy on the standard exemption, but no policies outside of those few things that I have said. Social Security, defense, and the standard deduction. Those things put money back in your pocket. But what I want Iowa and New Hampshire to understand, it is okay to vote for me in the primary. You can write my name, Robert C. Ayala, in the primary. I'm the only candidate for freedom. I'm not on a stage at an Iowa fair rapping Eminem. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Does that mean you're one of the people because you can rap Eminem? I don't know. I just think it all looks a little ridiculous. The 100 felonies against former President Donald Trump look ridiculous. Two morons, thing one and thing two, debating as if they're the first candidates or they're the main candidates in the next decision making of our country and who's going to be the president is just insane. And so Iowa and New Hampshire, you don't have to vote for Joe Biden. You can write my name in. You don't have to vote for Robert F. Kennedy. He's, first of all, a person who's been addicted to drugs for however many years, and the capacity that he was addicted to drugs, because everybody's got a hitch somewhere, right? But in the capacity, the heroin is that's a real downside, right? So that's just not realistic. And Marion, I know she's nice and stuff, but I think, if Cornel West was running on the Democrat side, he would be great. But he's not. He chose to go over to the Green Party because the Democrats want to ignore him. As somebody who has helped out with Democratic causes all his life, believed in helping the people, put the people first, and the Democrats tell him, nope, you can't be heard. The Democrats have become the party of silencing everybody. That's what we've become. And I feel that that's not what I am. I'm too poor to be a Republican. Sorry, Republicans, but I'm not a rich guy. So, I'm just not advocating for those policies to stomp all over everybody who has nothing. So I am a Democrat. But Iowa and New Hampshire, let me show you why it's okay to put my name in. So Newsom and DeSantis, they're going to debate. Whether they debate or not, whether it's a real thing, who cares? The issue, it's sanctioned. It's sanctioned by the Democrats because Democrats are about lineage and they're about the king, King Charles and the Queen and all that identity politics. And I think that's what's happened is the Democratic Party has gotten away from its base. It's gotten away from its people. And so first, let's talk about the first thing. So Bernie Sanders, of all people, the person who sold out to Hillary Clinton, who didn't take it to the Democratic convention, he folded over. He comes out and he hits Cornel West over criticism of Biden. This is the guy who, for the most of his life, had one house. He was the poorest senator in the U.S. Senate. I don't know if he has that title anymore. And I don't want to begrudge a person for having money, for living life. But when you go into government and you say you're here to help the average person, and then you come out and you fold on one election to your opponent, and then in the next election you know that Joe Biden is not capable, but you come out and you slam the one guy who used to be, I believe, one of your party chairs on your re-election campaign. Man, we talk about Ron DeSantis stabbing Donald Trump in the back. Wow. Who knew? I thought Bernie Sanders had some credibility. I thought he had some conviction. I thought he believed in something since he stands so firmly against any gun legislation. I thought he had conviction. But when you go out there and you slam an individual like Cornel West over criticism of Biden because he's chosen to run for the Green Party, that's just ridiculous. While at the same time, Newsom apparently goes over and he says, well, I'm just out here debating DeSantis, right? But I'm not challenging Joe Biden. What kind of irony is that? That's the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard. You're out there debating with the other side's number 5 candidate who was number 2, right? Now he's dropped to number 5. You're out debating against that guy, but you're not challenging Biden to the White House? Then what are you doing? You're just sitting there. You're just sitting there. What are you hoping for Biden to have a heart attack or something? And then boom, because everybody sees you, you swoop in and the Democrats once again anoint everybody and anoint you? Let me just tell you something, Gavin Newsom, Governor Newsom. You have 99 gun laws in the state of California, and not one of them has helped save any lives. Nobody in 49 other states wants the mess that you have in California. Here in New York, we don't have the homeless problem that you have. We don't do what you do in California. Sure, we do other things like we're trying to ban gasoline and fracking and those weird things along those lines that hurt everyday people's pockets, but nobody is clamoring for Governor Newsom to be the next president. In fact, Kamala Harris seems to be pretty upset about it. So this is my rant today. Iowa, New Hampshire. I have radio ads that are going to be running in your states very soon. And I want you to understand that during the primary, it's okay. It's okay to retain your first in the nation, Iowa. It's okay, New Hampshire, to live free or die, because that's what we do in America. And in both those cases, for both those states, what you could do is for the primary, and I'll be there for Iowa, is you can write Robert C Ayala on the ballot. You can show Joe Biden that he can't ignore Iowa, he can't ignore New Hampshire, and he can't stack the deck. Because what happens when you stack the deck, everything is based on one set and one direction and one game plan. There's no adaptation for if it's wrong. Democrats think because they held on to a couple seats in the midterms that empowered them. What really happened is nobody really came out to vote. People are tired. They're very tired. But I will tell you this. They're also tired of gasoline that's $5. They're tired of electricity rates that are through the roof. They're tired of blackouts in certain states. They're tired of cars being so expensive that the average person can't afford them no more. If there was ever an election on a referendum, this is in 2024 going to be the election on Joe Biden. And anybody who's a Democrat thinks that the country as a whole wants Gavin Newsom, Joe Biden, or Kamala Harris over at least 7 of the 9 candidates on the other side who all speak better, are more articulate, know how to walk, know how to engage with people, and don't run shadow campaigns. At least the Republican side comes out and says, we got people that are never Trumpers, right? But what are we doing over here on the Democratic side? We're allowing what? Ron DeSantis, who isn't even polling in the top 5 of the Republican candidates, to debate Governor Newsom, who is on Fox News all the time, but can't help anybody homeless in his state, can't do anything to bring down the cost of living in California, had tremendous flooding, and if you remember in California, had a snowstorm that nearly decapitated the state, right? Fires, and you know, all these problems, and they don't get solved, but he's going to run over to Fox News, and he's going to debate the number 5 Republican candidate, who really probably at this stage doesn't have any shot of overtaking Donald Trump, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, and maybe even Tim Scott. So Iowa and New Hampshire, once again, when you see this and you hear my ads in your state, please, it's okay. Write my name in. Write my name in. Talk to your senators, talk to your representatives, because what we need is we need more candidates like me, and we need a younger generation of Democratic leaders who are going to stop the other side from telling you how to live, what to ingest, and how to look. I'm Robert C. Ayala, a real Democrat, running for the Democratic nomination to stop the campaigns of Joe Biden, Donald Trump, or any candidate telling us how to live, what to ingest, or how to look. I may be imperfect, but I know what I believe in. And a real Democrat puts you and others first. A real Democrat puts you and others first. I promise. Have a good night. I hope to see some people here. Again, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9:30, probably until Thanksgiving. I'm going to just keep it up. What you don't catch on the live stream, just follow me on YouTube. Say hello. Stop by. Ask your questions of me. All right. I turned 49. I had another child that also aged. I have another child that's going to be aging in February. We're all getting a little bit older together. We're all growing together. The country's getting a little bit older. And what we need to make sure is that for 2024, we don't have Joe Biden or Donald Trump as the candidates for President of the United States. It's time for the next generation to step forward. Please join me on this mission. Please stop on my webpage, robertcayala.com, and please, $1. I'm trying to run some ads. Right now, they're radio ads in Iowa and New Hampshire. I'd like to be able to get on the TV, but I can't do it without your help. So please, if you want your gas prices to be lower, if you want to be free in America, if you want people to stop telling you what to do, and if you want to really solve the immigration problem that puts people first, lives first, compassion first, law and order first, then I'm your candidate. Thank you, and I'll see you on Thursday. Have a good night.